Tell us about some leadership lessons you've learned as a young leader.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm young anymore, but I think maybe this is part of like my New York mentality, right? I thought initially like people just came to work for a paycheck. And that's obviously like a very important part of why you come to work. But I think, leadership is giving people context for why they're doing what they're doing, right? So what is this piece of work you're doing? What does it mean in the totality of what we're trying to accomplish, right? So people want context. I think people want to feel like they're doing something that is meaningful, right? And not like meaningful in like the sort of, change the world way that like everybody talks about, but like, if you're building a product, like just knowing that other people use that product is gratifying, right? And so I think people want that type of kind of reinforcement of what they're doing. And so I think initially I just kind of thought it was a very black and white numbers and cents type of thing. And people aren't always just coming for that. They want to be surrounded by other smart people. So they want to be in a place where they're going to learn from other folks. So I think, if you find, from my perspective, like leadership is sort of finding good people and then giving them capabilities and people and context to help them be successful. I think that's really important. I think the other thing I've learned is sort of leadership is situational. So it's not a one-size-fits-all type of thing. So somebody might have skills in a particular area and you have to then train them and teach them and work with them in a certain way. And somebody else has a very different approach to learning and doing work. You have to approach them in a way that works for them. I think initially I might have tried to just say, okay, well, here's what we need to do, and just assume like everybody learns and does things in that same way, and that doesn't work.
It's not one size fits all.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the whole idea of it being situational was really important for me. And then I think, I finally kind of come around to this, to understanding the importance of culture, right? So like I, again, thought it would just happen organically. You hire smart people, you build good products, you make customers happy, and like culture just happens. And it does, you will build a culture that way, but I don't know if you'll build the culture that you want. So I think right now, like we're spending a lot of time thinking about like, how do we build the culture sort of as the operating system of the company the right way? So I spend a lot of time now doing stuff that's like, 2 years ago, if you asked me like, hey, you told me you're going to be doing all this work on culture, I'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm going to be selling subscriptions. Like that's what we do. We make money. Like I'm not going to bother with that. And like, now as the company grows, I've started to see like it's really important, and it's not something that I can just pay lip service to. I actually have to like spend time and build, try to help build it along with the team. You sort of constantly get humbled. Like every time you feel like you know what you're doing, then you like sort of realize you don't. Luckily, I think the one nice thing is like, especially within technology and the startup community, people share their wisdom. They're pretty gracious about that. So whether it's in person or even just online, I think we've learned like a ton by just reading what other successful people have done. We like very tactically talk about some of these things and sort of influence our thinking. So learning can happen now like all the time in some sense, because like there's just so many people out there who are nice enough to share the things that they've messed up and how they fix them, and then you can avoid at least some of those mistakes.